Hello, I'm Paul Page, and here in a sport that literally overflows with nicknames, one name, Big Daddy, means winning more than any other. Of course, we're talking about Don Garlits. He's been taking home national titles for over 20 years now, and he is back in the sport with a vengeance. He just comes off a Nationals win at Indianapolis, and is here today trying to show that he can do it once again. He has his sights set on one man in particular, Joe Amato, who has already wrapped up the World Championship points fight. Now, let's find out a bit about these top fuel dragsters and meet Joe Amato. Let's go to Steve Evans, an outstanding motorsports commentator. Steve?
Thank you, Paul. Joe Amato finished second in the World Championship chase last season to Gary Beck, but the Pennsylvania businessman attacked his third year as a professional driver with a vengeance. He showed up at the second race of the season, the Gator Nationals, with a brand new race car, sporting the tallest wing anyone had ever seen, up there in what Joe described as the clean air. The wing worked so well that Joe went on to win the Gator Nationals and become the first driver to ever crack 260 miles an hour. As you might imagine, all the big hitters showed up at the next race with a wing, just like Joe's. He kind of smiled and said, there's 9 other secrets in this car that aren't quite so visible. He has gone on to tie the record for the number of final round appearances at 7. If he wins today, he'll break that record. If he wins today, he will also tie the record for the most wins in one season at 5. And Joe Amato, yesterday you convinced any doubting Thomases in Southern California, 263 miles an hour. Amazing.
Well, we're happy to do a good job for the fans, and drag racing is such an exciting sport, and we really want to be part of it and show the people that dragsters are alive for 1984, and they're going to be definitely alive in 1985.
And number 1 qualifier as well.
Yeah, number 1 qualifier, and there's a possibility we might possibly set the record today for the low AT. We ran a 42, and 39 is not too far away.
So Joe Amato is going for the record today.
Certainly nobody likes to lose any one of these world championships, but Joe's had a tremendous year. We did manage to win 3 races. Generally that's good enough to win a title, but he did so well and won 3 himself and set the record and did so well at all the others. I mean, he deserves to be world champion. He had a great race team, but we'll go after him again next year.
Get mighty lonely down here when you lose a race, can't it, Joe?
Yeah, it's the way it is, Steve. It's tough when you lose, It's hard on the crew and all, but he ran better than us. The car shook and it just didn't do what it was supposed to do, and that's racing.
You know, you told us earlier you were going to try to set the record to prove to the Southern California fans what a Joe Amato was really capable of. Did you maybe overpower the racetrack trying to go for that record?
No, we had to change the motors. We had something happen to that motor, a minor thing, but it caused the cam to get grooved up, so we had to put a different motor in, and it was a little different combination, so it kind of threw us off track a little bit.
Don Garlits, the name that really means drag racing in the United States, disappeared for a while. Now you're back with a vengeance. Why?
Well, you know, I took a few years off putting my museum together. I built a museum for the sport, drag racing. And, you know, it took about 4 years out of my life. My wife and I worked real hard on that thing, spent a lot of money on it, and you just can't do two things at once.
You, A.J. Foyt, you guys are too old to be doing this, aren't you?
That's what they keep telling me.
Why are you back doing it so strong?
Well, you know, I got a lot of letters have come to me over the last few years wanting me to come back and race, and then the people come through the museum, Big Daddy, why don't you, you know, you're not too old to race. And so I got Malone, a friend of mine and partner from years ago. We put a little program together to finish out 1984 and then in hopes of obtaining a sponsor for 85.
When you first started in the sport, did you have any idea you'd be seeing 260s and full fields in the fives?
Of course not. You know, we run 85 miles an hour, 20 seconds in the quarter, and we were just having fun, just a bunch of kids, you know. I never dreamed the sport would become what it has.
If you dream a little bit now, what will the sport become? Do you have any idea?
Well, I guess it's going to get lots bigger, that's for sure, and we're going to go lots faster.
Don, you must like those 260-mile-an-hour times, because there's another one for you at about a 5:51.
Great. Now, you need them out here. These guys are tough.
You know, you had never run 260 really at the U.S. Nationals. Do you feel that in the seat of your pants? Can you tell that kind of mile an hour?
Yes, sir, you sure can. It is a ride down there. I mean, those traps go bip, bip, bip.
Quite an experience. I went and watched him race a lot of times when I was real young, and I didn't think I'd ever be racing beside him in a top field car.
I know he is well aware of you, called you a fast rising star in this sport. Nice words to hear from a legend.
Yeah, Don seems to be a real good guy. He's been helping us out, being pit next to him here, and we had a little problem this morning. He ran right over and gave us a hand with it.
Is that right?
So
There's no friendship when those staging lights come on. That's all forgotten.
now it's all for real then.
Made the final round at the World Finals, Don, but the car slowed up a little bit at 561, only 256.
Yeah, it was down on power just a little bit. We took a little power out because the last run we hurt a piston pretty good, and it needs that nitro back in it for the final for sure.
Car shook just a little bit?
And it did. It lost some traction.
But the track seems to be holding up marvelously.
Track is real good.
Okay, well, let's go back to the starting line and see who Big Daddy's opponent is going to be in that final round. It's going to be one of the Larry Minor-owned cars. We know that for sure. An interesting year for Larry Minor. He drives what they call the Team B car because he enjoys it. It's his goal always to put Gary Beck in the winner's circle and hopefully world champion. They seem to be racing each other everywhere they go. That's not the plan, but it works out that way. Larry, here it is again. But there's no points now. There's nothing involved here but kind of company pride.
Well, we're going to try to have a real good race out of it. We'd like to run a couple 550s. Seems like every time we've got together, something's happened to one car or the other, but we're gonna, there's nothing to be gained or lost except the pride for my crew, who always has to kind of take the back seat when we race Gary. So we're gonna really kind of give it our best shot.
Gary Beck arrives down here with an obviously wounded race car. Anytime there's oil pouring out of one of these machines like this, it generally means that a connecting rod has been kicked to the pan or the side of the block, which is quite difficult to repair and generally indicates that an engine change will have to be made. So Gary Beck, his enthusiasm over beating the boss Larry Minor has certainly be tempered by this. Gary, we got a serious problem here.
Yeah, Steve, I guess it broke a rod. Must have happened right. I didn't feel it. Must have happened right down the lights.
One of the engines, and I couldn't tell which car, sounded real funny down towards the finish line, like it was being turned on and shut off again.
I couldn't really tell. It was just going down through there, and I was just trying. Mine moved around quite a bit, so I was pretty busy trying to get mine set up for the finish line.
One thing we know for sure, that there's plenty of spare motors over there, but is there one that'll run this good?
Well, all the motors in the Light All-Star team are all the same. Funny car and Larry's car and my car, all exactly the same. All we do is have to change the pan on the funny car for the ground clearance. So, yeah, there's another one back there.
I'm sure Gary will be looking for the pick of the litter to go up against Don Garlitz.
We are just moments away now from the final round in Top Fuel, and back in those staging lanes, Gary Beck, Don Garlitz sit, running the run over in their mind what they will do. You think it's not going to be a sight game? You're sorely mistaken. Now, the engines fire. We're ready for the final round, Top Fuel Dragster, the World Finals.
The story in Gary Beck's pit is an engine change. They're installing what they call a long block. You see it here. Everything is on the motor except for the clutch and the supercharger and fuel system. Those are two key ingredients that will come off of the engine that exploded in the semi-final round. So they'll swing it over to the chassis, drop it in, and have but a few minutes to get back to the staging lanes. But with this talent and the number of personnel involved here, you can bet it will be done. Don Garlits waves to the fans who are blowing their horns as they exit the parking lot here at the Los Angeles County Fairgrounds. After a 5-year layoff, Big Daddy comes back, wins the U.S. Nationals and the World Finals back-to-back. Don, a 5:51, again over 260. Congratulations from Sports World.
Thank you very much, Steve. It's really been a pleasure to be here, believe me.
It was smooth on the starting line. Beck did what you figured he would do?
I don't know. I think Beck had some trouble. He was out. We were having a really good race, and it looked like his front end come up. And, of course, he had to back off, and he fell back rapidly then. But it was a real good race until that happened.
There's a lot of rumors about your plans for next year. Can you tell us now?
Well, you know, I'm really working hard to get a major sponsor. I want to just run the NHRA events. I want to try for the points in '85. I don't want to run anything else.
With a new car?
With a new car, oh yes. I've got every piece to build a new car right now.
And some aerodynamics may be involved.
Yes, I want to work a little aerodynamics. Not much, you know, no big giant chips, you know, just little massages.
I have a feeling that the only thing that'll never be in that museum permanently down in Florida is yourself. You're going to race as long as you can walk and talk.
Well, I hope so. I'm really having a good time anyway.
So did the fans watching Big Daddy win the World Finals here at Pomona.
I couldn't get it down.
I thought it was getting higher and higher, and finally you had to lift it.
Well, you had a good race.
Thank you.
Let's drive it back down the racetrack. Ready to let us do that?
Good morning, Don.
Nice race.
Hello, I'm Paul Page, and we have a tremendous fight in the funny car ranks here today. It's a fight not only for the event, but for the world title, and it's going 3 different directions. Mark Oswald, the current points leader, he has the NHRA record in funny car. And then there, of course, is Billy Meyer. 2 Nationals victories this season. He can do it. And then Kenny Bernstein, the first man ever to go 260 miles an hour in a funny car. Any one of those men could take home the funny car world title, and none of them have ever done it before. Now, let's find out about this incredible, this frightening machine, the funny car. Here is Steve Evans.
Paul, this is the car to beat for the Funny Car World Championship, the beautiful red Firebird driven by Mark Oswald. Now, these 1,800-pound tube-frame missiles are required to maintain the essence of a production automobile. That's why the fiberglass Firebird body, and that's why the engine is in front of the driver as it is in your car or mine. Now, with a 3,000 horsepower supercharged nitro-burning engine in front of the driver, from his standpoint, these could be called Formula Scary. Oswald is protected as much as possible by an aluminum bulkhead called the firewall. And in that wall are 2 Lexan plastic windows. Should they light up red, he knows there's problems, and he activates the onboard fire extinguisher system, hoping to extinguish the blaze. And as we've seen before here on Sports World, these cars don't always come back to their pit area quite as pretty as they were when they left. The obvious first question, are you okay, Billy?
Yeah, I'm okay.
What on earth happened? I've never seen one like that.
I have no idea myself. It just seemed like it must have started to get lean because the car really started to run good down here. It felt like it really started to pick up, and then all of a sudden just boom.
And your first experience with a funny car so far certainly has not been a pleasant one.
Hasn't been great. I like it though. It's neat. I'll get used to it.
You'll be back.
Yeah, I'll be back.
those high hopes for a world championship, at least this year, have come to an end. For Kenny Bernstein, as Sherm Gunn gets there first. Kenny, what happened up there?
Oh, I don't know, Steve. He ran pretty good. I was a little late. I don't know what his ETs were.
He ran a 5:95. I believe he ran a little quicker.
Yeah, I was late. I saw him leave. Reactions weren't there, and it's one of those days.
Well, I know you're real down right now, and we'll let you get back to the pits and try to get a little happier. Kenny Bernstein is all done for this season. This is the classic case of local boy makes good. You could almost throw a rock and hit Sherm Gunn's race car shop. You've been building these cars long enough for other people. Finally, you get a chance to go beat some of your customers.
Finally do. We're having fun.
Kenny Bernstein first, now the snake. Wow.
Well, we just take them as we can.
Of course, your driving is what beat Bernstein.
I think it was. We were out on him quite a bit, and I was watching him coming down through here. And he just couldn't pass me.
You're going to need more than 590s to continue through this field, though, unless you've got this kind of luck all day.
Well, maybe we got a little bit of luck on our side for a change.
Somebody once said I'd rather be lucky than good.
Really? Thank you.
Sherm Gunn, he's having fun. A new face on our Sports World drag racing coverage. A 573 to a 579. Billy Meyer, that was the most interesting funny car race.
Yes, it was. I had a valve that I needed to get shut off down there, and I couldn't shut it off, and I almost hit the guardrail there, and felt like it made a pretty good move. I was jamming on that stupid lever.
It got mighty close. And then what happened on the starting line? It looked like you overstaged?
Yeah, well, he had gone in stage, and I was trying to hurry up and get everything done, and when I blinked in, I just went too far in, and that's just part of the game, I guess.
Well, that'll rattle a lot of drivers. Instead, you had an advantage.
Yeah, it seemed to work. Now we just need to see what Oswald does, see if I can get the ball back here.
So Billy Meyer's Hail Mary pass worked this time. He steps up to a 573. Let's go back to the starting line and see how Mark Oswald is doing. Exhausted. Mark Oswald with the helmet off. You got the win light, but unfortunately not the record, Mark. 252 was not enough.
Yeah, I think that win will do it for us, so I just want to keep in there.
Well, it's going to take a better mathematician than me to figure out the points. Maybe Paul can tell us more about that later. But Billy Meyer's alive also, and he stepped up to a 573. You slowed down.
Yeah, he ran good. Our car was loose all over the racetrack. We were happy to get down there and make that win, just to stay in there.
The suspense is maddening, though, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that does it mathematically, though.
Okay, we'll check on that. Right, Paul?
Was the first car to be licensed, and I've worked with Bernie Partridge with the whole execution committee, including John Keeley.
Ed McCullough and crew have installed an entire new power plant in that funny car, getting ready to race Mark Oswald. This is the engine that came out of the car, and here's why. There's a crack here in the valley area. Now, this is just over the camshaft, in fact, over a cam bearing. Were this piece to fall out, it would be instant disaster. The lifter bores are going to come apart, the camshaft is liable to break, and what would happen is similar to what you saw at the top of the show. You remember the Billy Williams incident, the incredible blower explosion? That's what could have resulted had they run this engine. Some alert eyes found this, and by the way, this block cannot be repaired. That is $7,500 right down the drain. There's no greater confrontation in pro stock racing than Lee Shepard and Bob Glidden. You got that round with low ET of the day.
That's right. Lee was kind of looking forward to winning the world championship, and then after Warren went out the first round, he got really greedy and wanted to win the race. So I'm glad we won. I think we came here a little better prepared, and my gosh, I'm happy right now.
Let there be no doubt about it. The man taking off his shiny red helmet is the world champion Mark Oswald, and you could be the event winner. You're going into the final round.
Yeah, well, we get greedy. We win one, we won it all.
How'd the car feel?
Felt real good that time, you know, a lot better than before. Last round it was a little weak, you know, we almost made a big mistake there, but luckily we got through that.
A big top speed might be enough to back up that record.
Yeah, I don't know, it should be close.
We'll check on that, and good luck to you in the final.
Thank you, Steve.
This has got to be the biggest upset of the entire Funny Car season. Sherm Gunn goes into the final round against the new world champion Mark Oswald. How does it feel?
Great.
How many years have you been trying this?
God, about 20, I think.
Another overnight success.
Not an overnight success, but just perseverance.
Well, you know, unless this luck continues, and skill for that matter, but still, you're going to need more than 590s to beat that red car.
I know it, but we've done it so far. Consistency.
Anything you can do to try to whittle down that elapsed time?
Well, we're going to look at it. We're going to try.
So an up and down season for Bob Glidden definitely ends on an up note. The event winner here at the World Finals. Congratulations, Bob.
Thank you, Steve. This is an up note. I think someone said we set the record at a 61.
That's right.
Great. I know Ed is overjoyed, and the sponsors are going to be happy too. So it's been a good finish to a bad year.
Tell me about the starting line. What happened up there?
Nothing out of the ordinary. I knew Butch was going to do a little bit of some
Little dance for it.
Yeah, and he waited maybe a little bit too long, but there was no big deal.
Well, you played it very cool. He had a little of an advantage, maybe 200ths of a second, but you gave him that. You had the power to do that.
I didn't give him anything. If he got it, he earned it.
Well, this could be a sign of big things to come. Next season, you're looking at your World Finals champion, Bob Glidden.
Appreciate it.
We're ready now for the final round in Funny Car. Gunn, he's faced every challenge that he possibly can, and he has conquered. Oswald, on the other hand, has the World Championship completely wrapped up. He's coming into the round on a real high. It's going to be a terrific fight. Now, as they come into the staging lanes, engines fired, we're ready to go.
Sherm Gunn accomplished nothing today other than beating Kenny Bernstein, Billy Meyer, Don Perdome, and the new world champion, Sherman. A great moment. Congratulations.
I'm pleased. I'm really pleased. I don't know what exactly happened to him, but he faded, and I says, see ya.
And you did it in a car you built yourself, every nut and bolt.
Everything. Car's only 6 years old.
Oh, is that all? Just a youngster. Tell me about the race itself. You had to be a little nervous the first time in the final round.
No? Not really. I went to a lot of national events this year.
That helped, didn't it?
That really helped.
It's that seasoning it takes sometimes.
Yeah, I'm pleased.
The biggest upset I can remember in a long, long time happened here today at Pomona. Sherm Gunn, the winner of the World Finals.